ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to another time of flying with me, Doc Cook Flying. We are currently here over the simulated um, western Ukraine, which, as we all know, is a pretty hot spot, especially tonight, especially considering where we are. I was not anticipating um, a massive drone attack on Poland from Russia during our stream, but you can see here as we get over Sheptytsky into Lviv, because I didn't want to, so traditional airlines are doing this whole roundabout since 2022 due to the invasion. I didn't feel like doing that because we're in fake land, so I cut us going direct. However, after I did that, well, apparently there are Russian drones that are flying over the cities or the border of Poland, and they had shut down via NOTAM, which is a notice to all airmen, the both main airports here in Warsaw, Poland. And I just thought that was interesting, but then it also very much lined up with our route tonight, which I also thought was interesting. But that is that. Anyway, if you're just joining us, this is Doc Cook Flying, where we are currently on a world tour around the on a world tour in the 737-900. And tonight the live stream brings us heading down from Riga, Latvia, and we are heading to Istanbul, Turkey. And as we're coming on the stream here, we're about 350 miles from the top of descent, so very likely it will just be you and I talking tonight, which is unfortunate. I am sure you all think the same. Anywho, let us know where you're from down in the chat, what you're doing, how you're doing, and if you guys are where you're from, and yeah, anything else you want to drop in there. If you haven't yet, please subscribe. Join us here as we continue around the world. Let's see here. We flew from Seattle to Boston, United States, transcontinental route. And then from Boston, we went to Newfoundland for staging before our transatlantic trip to Keflavik, Iceland. And then from Keflavik, Iceland, we went to Edinburgh, Scotland, down to London Heathrow, over to Riga, Latvia, and now we are heading down to Istanbul, Constantinople. Oh, I think that song is even before my time, ladies and gentlemen, and I can't even tell you what it's called, to be honest, but it's neither here nor there. Oh Lord, I hope you guys are having a good night tonight, though, and I hope everybody's doing splendidly. If there's anything we can think about or pray over, please drop it down in the chat or comments, depending on when you're watching this. And, we would love to shout it out and at least give you good energy to whatever you believe, right? So, positive energy, too much positive energy is never a bad thing. So, we're here to give it out here at Doc Cook Flying, just so you know. Let us know. You don't have to tell us what it is. Just tell us that you need something. Alright, I'm going to shut up for a little bit. We'll check in on our favorite seat down in 14 Alpha. Here they are. ride along for this, give you guys some nighttime zen. Guys, like I mentioned, if you're just joining us, this is leg 8 of our world tour in the 737-900. Today we're in a Turkish Airlines 737-900, and we're flying to Istanbul or Constantinople. God, somebody please tell me what that song is. I'll end up Googling it. But I don't want to copyright this. One day, you know, everybody tells their grandma, their uncle, what we're doing here at Dog Hook Flying, we might get up to 500 subscribers. And at that point, I don't want to get demonetized. Am I right? So, can't be singing too much of a song. Or I don't know how that stuff works, guys, to be honest. I really no idea. We still have about 350 till TOD. So, a lot of time before we have to. So we can go. Wonder what 14 Delta is all about. Anyway, like I was saying, you guys, if you have not yet subscribed, please subscribe to follow along with us as we continue this journey. Right? Just good energy, positive vibes. It's the life we're all about. And we're currently going the entire way around the world in only a 737-900. Kind of like Amelia Earhart. The word hero has been used, but I don't like to use it. Oh, just kidding, guys. But thank you all for joining tonight. I'm really very honored and excited to see that we are growing in the way that we are. and I'm so happy that you all are here. I'm touched with the positive impact that this has already seemed to bring people. So I'm very excited about that. So really appreciate you um, joining us here. So yeah. Anyway, here's the opposite side of our favorite camera, a little further back. Let's see if we can get a little on the wing. Oh, there you go. How about an over the engine shot? That's a solid shot, dude. Especially with how dark the leading edge of the wing there looks. Yeah, I like that. That's cool. We'll sit here and watch this for a little bit, guys. Drop in the chat if I should be changing this, but it's pretty chill for now. I mean, like I said, we got 300 more miles before TOD, and we are going to be staying on until 2200 Eastern tonight. So, or maybe if we're close enough to landing, we'll just go ahead and stream the landing too. We'll see where we end up. What do you guys think we should do? I mean, it is Tuesday night, so we don't get too crazy on Tuesday nights, but we save that for the Saturday night stream. Doc Hook After Dark. Oh wow, Agile operator. Now that is worrisome. That's worrisome because that might lead further to Article 5 of NATO. It might be very interesting when we wake up in the mornings. But you're right. Why don't you just pray for him? Where's everyone tuning in from tonight? I am North Carolina. How about y'all? Agile operator from the D. Detroit. That's what I'm talking about. Slowly but surely we're getting there. Let's go ahead and type in everything that we need. You see my Alaska background on the... Yeah. I guess I changed it for all of the 737-900s. Whoopsie. Alright, guys. We are coming into Lima Tango Foxtrot Mike, or LTFM. 35 right there into Istanbul with the Rixen Star. So, 35 right, 1 second. And LTFM, it's a very, very big, modern airport there in Istanbul. It's part of Istanbul's kind of tourism drive. I don't know if anyone else has seen the commercials saying this and that about Turkey, you know, place to vacation and whatnot. If you have seen those commercials, then that means you know what I'm talking about. Alright, Rixen 1 Alpha with a Rixen or Buvak transition, and neither of those are available. So that means that we're doing it live, folks. Here we go. Boom, boom. Pow, pow. Alright. Sound effects brought to you by Crazy Mind of Doc Hook. Hope you guys are enjoying the stream so far. I know I am, but I hope it is mutual. If you go to school, hope you had a good day at school. If you go to work, hope you had a good day at work. I feel so much worse for us that go to work. These kids knew what they had at school. But I assume everybody said that when I was young, and I probably did just about the same job listening to them as I feel my kid does to me now. So here we are. Comment down below if you're a kid or a parent, you can relate to either of those sides of the coin. everyone, we are officially out of conflict airspace and officially into Romania. So that's that. Let's see, that is... I would butcher trying to say that, so I'm not even gonna try, guys. Yep. But we're in Romania. It's basically the long and the short of it. We have... Let's see where we're at in our flight tracking real quick. Yep, we have about 45 minutes remaining on this flight. That puts us at 10:15. Oh, we're streaming the whole thing, ladies and gentlemen. We're doing it. Dock hook flying, going off the rails. We're really doing it, guys. We are really doing it. Should probably turn that down then. Jeez, nobody wants to hear my voice that loud. Am I right? I do hope you guys are having a wonderful night, wonderful beginning of your work week. Again, if you're just now joining us, this Dock Hook Flying, we're going around the world. And this aircraft just painted differently throughout the times. We today are in the Turkish Airlines 737-900 ER, extended range, which basically just means there's these auxiliary tanks that you see there below the wing. We are currently over Romania. We are heading to Istanbul. You see the mountains of Romania now. We just left Ukrainian airspace, where in real life there is a lot of conflict happening, especially tonight, as Russian drones are currently flying into Poland. The last update I got before we went into we went on the live stream, so pretty sure everybody hanging out there, because that's, couldn't even imagine what that's gonna turn into. We're gonna find out, right, folks? But all we can do is continue to put positive energy in the world and hope that it pays out. I believe it will. Let's get in here and check in on our cabin pictures. Oh, that's cool. Here's Romania, guys. Let's just sit back, stop talking about serious things, and enjoy the scenery of Romania for a little bit. As small as that window will go, and I don't want to block too much of the... However, you can see here where we are and what our radar's looking like. You can see where I totally skipped. So since 2022, real world routes have been avoiding Ukraine for obvious reasons. But tonight, since we are just blasting through, and this is Doc Hook flying. We just said, nah, we're not gonna do that. Anywho, I'm kind of hoping this day-night line moves a little bit faster than it's looking like, because I would love to get a nice sunrise over the Black Sea as we pull into Istanbul. But we'll see what the universe deals us. I just want to show everybody where we're at currently. I'll leave this. No. Yeah, I'll minimize that. Should come up with a mini one. I could probably program that. Alright, folks, I'm going to shut up and let you guys look at Romania for a little bit. you guys see here, we still have a little bit of time before TRD. But like I said, we are going to end up streaming the whole thing. So I'm pretty sure we will be touching down probably around 22:10 Eastern Standard Time. So if you'd like to stick around, please do. But that's the game plan, for everybody wondering. Let's get a quick map check and see where we're at. That city we are coming up on is Politsi, Romania. Politsi, Romania. If you're familiar with Politsi, drop it down in the comments, tell us about it. Is it a nice place? I feel like it's probably a nice place. Those mountains. It's a nice place. If you're just joining along, guys, this is Doc Cook Flying. We are taking a 737-900 all around the world. This leg currently has us flying down from Riga, Latvia, down to Istanbul, Turkey in a Turkish Airlines 737-900. So if you'd like to join along, please feel free to subscribe and join us. speaking of which, in the chat, let me know where you guys are dropping in from. What's your home airport? Maybe we'll include it in our world tour. Or if you have any suggestions, drop those in there. Any interesting approaches or any interesting locations you could think of for us to include in our world tour. We'd love to hear them. Either comment them in the chat or drop them down, in the comment section. We'll throw them in here. We do not mind constructive feedback here at Doc Hook Flying. So if you have feedback, drop it in there. Let us know what you're thinking, what we could do better to help you guys enjoy us more. So yeah, this is a channel that cares, ladies and gentlemen. And we are coming up on Bucharest. Should be visible over our other wing. Let's look over there real quick. Not quite yet. Let's look out here on the external look. The Bucharest is coming up. It's hard to believe it's still out of view. Oh, no. We are just right on top of it. That's it. There's Bucharest, ladies and gentlemen. Bucharest, Romania. Hopefully I am not butchering that in any way. There's 3 airstrips rolling along, you can see there. And here comes Bucharest right under the ring. Right under the wing is the proper way of saying that. Not the way I tried to. I hope everybody's having a great night tonight, though. That's the important thing. Yeah, so this is like 8 of our world tour. We started in Seattle, Washington in the Alaskan Airlines 737-900, and we flew transcontinental across the United States to Boston, so Seattle to Boston, then from Boston up to St. John's in Newfoundland. And then from there, we went from Newfoundland to Keflavik, Iceland. From Keflavik, Iceland to Edinburgh, Scotland. Scotland down to London. London over to Riga, Latvia. And now we are going from Latvia down to Istanbul, Turkey. In a Turkish Airlines 737-900. You're currently looking at the view from seat probably 8A, 8 Alpha if I had to guess. It's towards the front, not quite first class, quote unquote first class. So regional hoppers, narrow body flights rarely have first class worth riding home about, that's for sure. The best first class I've ever experienced would be probably Qatari Airlines, and I somehow, some way, through a luck of fate, I ended up getting basically a free first class ticket on one that had the full hotel suite and everything else, and that was quite an experience, ladies and gentlemen. I have never felt so rich in my life. And nor will I ever again, right? Let's get in here and see how close we are to our TOD. See, we're banking now to the left, coming over to what's to be bearing 140. We're about 100 miles from TOD, as you can see there. 75 miles from the Buvak waypoint here in, what did we say, Romania? Well, no, because we just switched over where we at now. Is Bulgaria. Oh yeah. We really changed geopolitical landscapes there, ladies and gentlemen. The difference between Romania and Bulgaria, I think, is stark. We did get to 54 subscribers, which I don't know if you guys know, but kind of makes us a pretty big deal. I'm so excited about the 54 subscribers. I hope you guys are really enjoying what we're doing here. If you have any thoughts, comments, concerns, constructive criticisms, please drop them down in the comments. Shoot them over in a DM, or however you do that. I don't know on the YouTube platform. But whatever tickles your fancy, let me know what we could do to do better by you. And we'd certainly appreciate the constructive criticism. We take it into account and we try to do better every day. Because that's all we can do, right? It's about progress, not perfection. Alright guys, what do you say we do our arrival brief real quick? We'll pull up our charts, everything else 35 right into Istanbul via the Rickson. Let's go over this. Lima Tango Foxtrot. Mike is the airport code, the ICAWA code for the airport, or the new kind of modern airport there in Istanbul. See here, we just left Romania, we are crossing into Bulgaria. Geez, sorry guys. Why is that the only two options? It's either extremely zoomed out or way too close. Anywho, you guys can see that our path into 35 right. Come all the way out here to Avicular and cut it north. At which point, pretty straight shot right into 35 right, Istanbul. If we time it right, we might in fact see the sunrise over the Black Sea, which would be pretty cool. So stick around if that sounds like something you'd like to look at. But guys, let me know down in the chat what you guys are, where you're tuning in from. What's your home airport? Where should we fly next? Where should we fly next around the world? Really, that's the big question, right? So from here, we're going to go from Istanbul, and then I'm thinking probably Cairo, and then over to Casablanca, down to Accra, Ghana. Has a special place in my heart. Over to most likely Nairobi to go visit one of our very special channel subscribers, one of the very first subscribers. He suggested that we go. Shout out to him. Mr. James Bean. I don't know if that's his real name, y'all. That's his username. So just so you know, I'm not throwing out his real name. I don't know him, like, for real. But he seems to be a solid dude who is a big aviation fan. And a fan of this channel, which makes me a fan of his. So there you go. Look at that, guys, as we come across into the Black Sea. It's pretty cool looking, huh? I guess then that's Varna. Right there. What port city it looks like. Black Sea. Out across the horizon. Off our port side. And off the nose here. If you look way far in the distance, you can just start to see the lights of Istanbul as we start to come into the area. As you see here, we basically get to the airport and then we cut around and do our whole approach and arrival thing. So it's the plan of the day, as we called it in the military. POD. Plan of the day. $50 miles until TOD, which is not the POD as I just said, but the TOD. It's Tango, Oscar, Delta. We are coming in. Istanbul. Let's, oh shoot, I promised you guys charts and we got distracted. It's the Black Sea. I've heard it could be hypnotic, can be hypnotic. Alright, let's look over here. We got the Rilex arrival, which you see here. That's where we're headed. Rilex transition, which is here. We are somewhere in this area currently. We've come further around there. Sorry, somewhere over the ocean, or over the Black Sea currently. We'll hit the Rilex transition that you see there. And we'll scoot down this way. All the way over, across, down, and then finally. So you see, guys, it's kind of a complex little situation we got going on here. We run it down, we run across the airport. Then we break 10,000 feet, which, as you guys know, is where we take over and hand flight in. And then we curve basically around all of Istanbul proper until we come upon the airport. Well, our second coming at the airport for us to finally then land. So it should be fun. Looks like a whole lot of fun pulling into Istanbul. Radar picture is clear. Let's look at that real quick. Traffic's clear. Of course, you know, nobody's manning. They're kind of close to a war zone, ladies and gentlemen. They could probably care less about virtual flying right now. It might be the least of their worries. However, us tonight are looking at clear skies. Take an external look real quick. think we're gonna leave it here until it's time for descent. We have everything we really need to. Oh wait, no, we didn't even look at our approach chart. My bad, guys. We looked at the arrival chart, never looked at the approach chart. Jeez. What am I doing, ladies and gentlemen? What am I doing? Somebody help me. Alright, 35 right. Here we go. See what they have for our minimums. 800 feet. Here comes descent. Heck yeah, man, we are cooking with gas. We are ready to go. I'm excited to see what the Istanbul airport has for us here in this Turkish airline. We are flying the home team livery, so we should be welcomed with open arms into Istanbul. I never went to Istanbul in my lifetime. I did go to Kirkuk, which is a port city off of Turkey's coast. I enjoyed my time there. There we go. We are got everything adjusted there. Our landing altitude. We're going to go ahead and cut on the lights because we are very close to starting our descent. And then before you know it, we will be all the way at 10,000 feet, and we won't have any lights on. We won't turn on the landing lights yet. I mean, that's a little too intense. Let's check and see where our sunlight is. Oh, there's our descent string. Yeah. No, I'm still probably gonna be way far off. However, it does bring up a good point on how I should adjust my schedule filming episodes for you guys as far as when daytime, because I'm sure people want to go into Cairo in the daytime. You're not really seeing the pyramids at night. When the aliens built them, they didn't really think to light them up for us. Jeez, guys, come on. Maybe that's why they're coming back on 3i Atlas. They forgot to put aircraft safety lights on the pyramids. They're coming back to install them. God, wouldn't that just be the most disappointing disclosure ever? Hey guys, aliens are real. Oh, there they go. They changed the light bulbs, now they're gone. Womp womp. Guys, if you enjoy this kind of random talking, flying, landing, everything else, subscribe, join us, this community. Feel free to comment any constructive criticisms, positive constructive criticisms, mind you, because my young son is one of this channel's biggest fans. I will say he has gained people that are also in his club of being fans of this channel, which I'm very honored by. Never thought that would be the case, but certainly changed my perspective on the platform and being able to be a source of good energy. So if that's something you enjoy and you could use some positive energy and some relaxing, zenful commercial airline flying, feel free to subscribe tell your friends all about us, like the Black Sea. Isn't that cool? And just join along and be a positive, good person that's interested in people being happy. And we will we will welcome you with open arms. Certainly hope we would never open you with welcome arms. How our schedule generally goes, ladies and gentlemen, is I'm posting a lot of content now, just due to the fact that it's a young channel. I'm trying to really get and spread the message and just kind of get involved, and see if this is something that people would like to have in their lives. So that's why I started putting it out there. We post videos usually every other day, shorts every now and then a live stream we try to have Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday nights at 9 p.m. Eastern, so 2100 for anyone in Europe, but Eastern Standard Time. So basically, we've been on stream for an hour. So whatever time it is in your local jurisdiction as we speak, rewind an hour, that's when I start. Basically every other day. If there's something that comes up in my life, such as this past weekend when there was a literal tornado through the neighborhood, I try to post about it and let you guys know that I'm not going to be on. I feel like it's the least I could do if you were anticipating, having something involved in your night. And now it's not going to be the case. So, anyway, I try to be responsible about it and try to do right by people. So, if that's something that tickles your fancy, please subscribe. We would love to have you here, is the moral of that story. We're going to go ahead and switch that over to standard barometric pressure. The transition altitude in overseas, so Europe and beyond, is usually right around like 8,000 feet. And while I get it, like it doesn't really matter, it also doesn't really matter, so I hit it a lot higher than 8,000 feet. It's just kind of a comfort thing. I don't want to be thinking about it once I'm hand flying the plane from 10,000 feet down. So that's why I do it, if anyone's wondering. So there's Istanbul, guys. And you see there, I think that right over our ultra high frequency radio antenna there, I believe it's the airport we are headed to. Let's look at it real quick. Yep. Yes, that is the airport we are going to. So 35 right would be this one. Or, sorry, I'm forgetting. You can't. It would be the closest one. You can't see my cursor. It's the one closest to the terminal there. As Microsoft Flight Simulator's rendition of the airport, that your boy is a broke YouTuber. And so we're still rocking Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020. 2024 is going to be nice one day, once I save up enough money. Sorry guys, I'm laughing because I'm laughing because it's fun. Alright folks, soon we're going to be taking over. Here in about 6,000 feet, we're going to take over and fly it into Istanbul. 35 right, as you just saw. Oh. Alright. Give me a second, live streamers. I'm going to bring it in for the recording of the good evening, afternoon, morning, whatever time it is that you are watching us. This is Doc Hook Flying, and we are here in the 8th leg of our world tour, from which we left Riga, Latvia in this Turkish Airlines 737-900ER, and we are now almost at 10,000 feet into Istanbul. We are landing into LTFM Istanbul Airport. There are two airports. The reason I specifically mention that is there are two airports in Istanbul. There's the old one, and then there is the brand spanking new one. We are landing at the brand spanking new one. The old one was, hold on, let me see if I can try to remember this. I accidentally landed there. Nonsense, killing me, man. No, it is called Istanbul Airport. Okay, that's no wonder it was killing me. No, what was the old one called? That's what I was trying to remember. Let's look. Nope. Alright. Well, while that name's escaped, if you guys know it, please drop it in the comments or the chat. I would love to remember it because it is completely escaping me, and I do not want to be Googling things on the live stream, so if you drop it in there, if you guys know. I mean, I'll end up getting there by the time anybody's watching this. But the cool thing is, this city has had technically 3 names. It was Byzantine back when it was Ottoman Empire, and then when it was Eastern Roman Empire, it was Constantinople, and now today it's Istanbul. So 1 city, 3 names, kind of cool. Oh, there it is. Ataturk was the... I hope I'm pronouncing that right. I doubt that I am. Ataturk. A-T-A-T-U-R-K. But the U has 2 dots, so kind of a thing. Probably not pronounced the way that I am trying to do it. However, now the brand spanking new airport, Istanbul Airport, that we're going into, has massive runways, 35 left and 35 right. That's where we're headed. It handles 90 million passengers a year. Hence now one of the busiest airports in Europe. So yeah. as you guys know, we will be taking over the sticks at 10,000 feet. Get one last look around what our passengers are looking at, seeing real quick before we take over these sticks, get into Istanbul. I'm excited for it. I'm excited to see this brand new airport. I have not flown to Istanbul since MSFS has apparently loaded in this airport. So I'm looking forward to that. That's pretty cool, in my opinion. What you guys think? Drop down below. If you haven't already, and this is something that you enjoy, we'd love to have you subscribe and join us here. This is leg 8 of our world tour. Next we will be going to Cairo, Egypt, so that should be a lot of fun. So hop in to follow along as we continue around the world in a 737-900. Alright, we're going to turn on all of our lights now. Shine the flight attendant. And here soon, there we go. As soon as we get through this turn, we're back level. We'll go ahead. Let's verify everything else is in. Yeah. Right, and we're going to go ahead and take over. We're going to tell the Boeing to shut up. And then we're going to scroll this all the way down as we do. Because VNAV loves to trim it out. There we go. There we go, ladies and gentlemen. Our airplane. My airplane, to be more proper. You can't have it because it's my airplane. Guys, drop some good vibes down in the chat for a successful arrival, approach, and landing into Istanbul. As you guys know, my favorite descent speed's usually around 246 knots. So I might go ahead and drop the nose there as we're doing this giant loop around Istanbul to bring us into 35 right on the brand new airport, the fancy smashy one. If you guys have any suggested destinations while we're journeying through the world in the 737, please feel free to drop them in the comments and let us know. Maybe we'll come up with some kind of competition to vote next ones or something like that. Let me know if anybody has any ideas, thoughts on that. But also thoughts on the channel, you know. Tell me what you guys are trying to see. I like flying airplanes, so you guys tell me what to riff about while I fly airplanes, and if that's something you'd like to hear me talk about, drop in the comments. If you have questions, things like that. So here we go, guys. We're getting down to... Oh, wow. They still wanted us at 10,000 feet. Whoopsie. I'm trying to... Ladies and gentlemen, I'm trying to get going. Like, what are we doing? Like, we're walking all the way around this place. Let's get after it, boys and girls. Let's get after it. I am, like, good with this. This a lot of... I've learned that a lot of, seems a lot of more European countries have a lot more drawn out approach, and it might be due to just a busy airport, you know. Now that I think about it, probably want you to stay at that altitude, but we're not online tonight. Obviously, it's like it would be like 4 o'clock in the morning in Turkey, so nobody's online. And as I mentioned, they probably have other things going on with the whole war across the pond or across the sea from them, but it's still pretty much backyard. My American viewers that don't grasp why NATO is so kind of focused on Ukraine, it would be the equivalent of Mexico invading, I don't want to say Mississippi, that was insulting, but invading like a state, right, in our backyard. And you might live in Maine or Michigan, but that's still, South Carolina or Alabama or whatever state got invaded by whatever hypothetical invader force invaded. We'd feel a certain kind of way about that, right? So that might be why the Europeans feel a certain kind of way about Putin coming into the Ukraine. Just, you might want to give it a thought every once in a while. But who am I? I'm a guy who flies simulated airplanes online and chit-chats about life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. And apparently occasionally the geopolitical situations evolving around Eastern Europe. But we try to not do too much of that. Now guys, we are just trying to make it all the way. Could you imagine if I kept all those waypoints in? It'd be an hour worth of flying at 10,000 feet, just with our thumbs in our pants. Anyway, now we have more direct route. We can only do this because we're offline, and we're only offline because of the time and the fact that nobody's online to be telling us what to do. Point remains, it would have been a long approach. And now we're 20 miles away. We're still 20 miles away from turning onto finals. And they had me doing all kinds of loop-de-loops over here. Like, geez, guys, come on. Atlanta doesn't even have that much wildness. Comment down below the wildest airport you've ever flown into, or if you're a pilot, the wildest airport you've ever flown into. But both perspectives, pilots or passengers. What is the wildest airport you've ever flown into? And mine goes without saying, would be like Djibouti or Kandahar. Places like that, war zones, but those don't really count, do they? Mogadishu. I landed in Mogadishu Airport, the Moog, but this is way. I am not old enough to have done the Black Hawk Down stuff. I was just there. When I was traveling, I was meeting. There was a reason for me to be there, is what I'm getting at. We don't have to get into the reason. Right. Flaps 1. And we are not going to need any speed break during our arrival. We are good to go there. And we're at 4,000 feet already, so we don't need to be doing any more descending. There's our increased lift. You can see our increased drag by our airspeed dropping precipitously. There we go, guys. But let's not get too far below 4,000 feet, am I right? Drop in the chat where you guys are checking in from tonight. I'm so excited to see the community that we're building here. I hope everybody's enjoying what we're trying to build here. Just relaxing flight videos and just general positive energy. I realize that it's kind of hard to find that nowadays, so I want to try to get that in a different format, than going and seeing your therapist. I'm just some random dude that talks into a microphone while I fly simulated airplanes, so who am I? But there's some freedom in that, right? You don't have to listen to me. In fact, I would recommend you don't listen to me. So, but you can watch me if you enjoy my flying. That's cool. It's the Mediterranean there. And then on this side is the Black Sea. A small canal goes through Istanbul and connects the two, and has been so critical in Europe's history. I think many people kind of lost the connection to the fact that Istanbul was for the longest time, the seat of the Christian faith, believe it or not. Granted, all the splits that ended up coming down the line for everybody turned it into Eastern Orthodoxy, I believe. But yeah, man, Istanbul was very influential in Western history. And I don't think we learned enough about Istanbul or the Ottoman Empire in school. At least I didn't, but what do I know? Again, random guy on the internet talking into a microphone. Take everything I say with a grain of salt. Just trying to riff some cool things that I think I know about Istanbul. Also known as Byzantine, also known as Constantinople. And if somebody can remind me of that song name, I would be in their debt forever. As it goes, Istanbul, Constantinople, like it was a, 1940s song or whatever, 1950s song. Finally, ladies and gentlemen, we are just about to turn on to final. Kick out our landing gears, confirm 3 green, and land this beautiful sucker in Istanbul after what felt like an hour of an approach. We are finally arriving into Istanbul's brand new spanking airport. Let's see how it treats us. And if you haven't already, please comment, like, subscribe, all the things a more successful YouTuber would be telling you to do right now. Oops, we did not need to be gaining altitude, just come on, dog. There we go. Just let the nose down a little bit there. Although, to be fair, it wanted us to go from 2,000 down to 25. Or nice name. We're good in the hood, everyone. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. It's on. We are good for approach, good for landing, good for all the things. Let's get after it. We're 35 right. Okay. Everybody hold up the right hand. That one. That's where we're headed. Flaps, gears down. Oh, oops. Alright, there we go. Confirm 3 green. 3 green. Red and white on our indicator lights. We are just right. See there? Now, which one did I say we were going to? Right. 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 Speaking of older songs, not quite as old as the other one, but it's getting there. Oh. Drop a comment in the chat if you are old enough to remember that song. Every time. I swear. It always thinks I want to go around. And nothing could be further than the truth. Because just like playing Madden, at Doc Hook Flying, we don't go around. Actually, we have done go-rounds, but only when it was like we were landing in a tropical storm, winds and stuff. Tropical storm, actual tropical storm there on a few of them. Now we're going to get up here, we're going to juice up the engines to about 50%, and then we're going to find our way. This is what VNAV should do, but it's not exactly a brand new system. Not cutting edge technology there on VNAV, or even Autoland, believe it or not.
Minimums.
Here we come, guys. It's still going to be gorgeous.
100.
Because that's what we do here. Boom shakalaka. As the greatest YouTuber I know would say. And that is Stefan Burns.
50.
I'll drop a link to his channel.
20. 10.
Guys have any interest in space weather, he's the best space weatherman ever. And that, ladies and gentlemen, pretty solid landing, pretty foundational landing. That approach was clean, I would say. What did you guys think? Drop likes, comments down below. Tell me what you think about that landing here in Istanbul. As we're slowing down. Turkish Airlines. And I got a little sideways because I was looking at the wing, obviously. But there we go. Cut off the reversers. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Istanbul, where the local time is, I have no idea. But it is 0234 Zulu. So let's see, that would mean local time is right at 434 Zulu here in Istanbul. Or sorry, 434 here in Istanbul local. If you enjoyed this flight and would like to tune in for more of our world tour here in this 737, feel free to subscribe. We'd love to have you here. And other than that, this has been Doc Hook Flying. Signing off. Night all.